Well, good morning, and I'm on one of Scotland's most famous mountains. Certainly, I would say in the top 5 of most famous mountains in Scotland. And look at this behind me, isn't it wonderful? And I'm going up this mountain probably, it's in my top 5 days out on mountains in Scotland. Going up the hill this way is just absolutely brilliant. So yeah, a lot of you will know exactly where I am because I've been up here before, but I'm going to do something slightly different on this hill that I've not done for a long time, and I'll explain more when I'm a bit higher up. I'll spin you around and show you what lays ahead. Oh, so it's a steep old, let me turn around so you can see. It's a steep old pool up here, and I don't know if the camera's making it out, but you just see all the rocks, but there is a way up here, and that's where I'm headed for, so I'll bring you back in a wee while. Oh, right, starting to get even steeper now, so it's time to get my helmet on and put the big camera away. Just take the wee camera. I've got the 360 camera, so I'll use that here. I'm heading up a route called Curved Ridge, which is, as I said, one of my favourite routes, and it's been an early start. What time is it now? I think it's probably about 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's just before 7. And I was up at 2:30 this morning, but it wasn't to come to the mountains. It was yet another airport run. I had to drop my daughter off at the airport at 4 o'clock this morning. So it was an early start, and I thought I'll just come up and do this. This is a popular route, and quite rightly so, but not this early in the morning. So yeah, I've been going for a wee bit now, maybe about an hour. I left the car about 6 and walked along the familiar path. And I was keen just to keep going to try and get above this slight inversion. Well, it's an inversion, but there's a slight amount of cloud, if that makes sense. Right, shut Murray, let's get the old helmet on. And yeah, for the next wee segment, I'm going to be using my 360 camera. So yeah, I do apologise. I'll just do probably voiceover until I get to the top of Curved Ridge. Right, let's get on with it. So I got my helmet on and put the big cameras away and started up Curved Ridge. And the hardest bit about Curved Ridge is actually finding the start of Curved Ridge. If you've watched my videos in the past, you'll know the story of the first time I went to do it in February and ended up doing D Gully Buttress, which is quite a common mistake. Anyway, it's a fabulous route up the mountain. Don't be put off by this footage. It's taken from a 360 camera, so it does skew it, but it is steep. You don't want to fall, and you do need to know what you're doing. It's just a wonderful route. Probably my favourite route up any mountain, but especially one of Scotland's best mountains. And once we'd done Curved Ridge, I met somebody called Richard. That's the chap who was behind me, who was heading up as well. So we had a great chat going up it, and at the top of Curved Ridge we decided to go on a bit further and head up Crowberry Tower, because it's an excellent place to loiter, especially on a morning like today. Right, made it up Curved Ridge, and I've got a companion behind me here, Richard from Aberdeen. He's joined me for the grand wee chat coming up Curved Ridge. So we're on Crowberry Tower now. What a place this is. Let me just spin you around so you can see what I'm looking at. Hopefully it'll be in focus. There's Ben a Cruelista over there, and then down over the Rannoch Moor. What a sight. Absolutely fabulous. It's a rather nice morning. There's a nice cool breeze as well. So next up, just a wee jaunt to the summit, so I'll report back when we get to the top of Stob Coire up in Buachaille Etiuve Mor. Look at that. Look at the sun just catching those lochans. Beautiful. Right, I'll report back at the top. If you've been watching the videos, you know I've usually sit here, come up, it's a lovely wee spot. Anyway, I've got a wee sandwich bag with me, you'll notice. I made myself some sandwiches, so no Scotch eggs or pork pies for me. Might come on to that, I've already had a banana. And just to sort of emphasise how early it was, I did go to McDonald's for a bacon sandwich at 4:30, and they weren't even serving breakfast at that point. They don't start breakfast until 5 o'clock. So that's how early it was. But yeah, that's me on the top of the buckle now, Stob Dearg. And what I'm doing differently today is I'm actually going to go, and I've not done this, I think, since the first time I came up here. And I've got stories about that as well, which I'll tell you about. But anyway, I'm going to do the whole ridge, the whole buckle, because this is just, I think people think this is Buachaille Etiuve Mor, and it is, but it's Stob Dearg of Buachaille Etiuve Mor, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'm going to have a sandwich, and I'll bring you back a bit later on. Right, that's me had. One of my sandwiches, I've got two. You know what, there's a nice breeze keeping any beasties at bay. And keeping me quite cool, actually. It's nice, and you see I've got my ridiculously looking hooded top on, but it's keeping my neck from being sunburned, which is good. So let's crack on, and I'll report back in a wee while. I might get my poles out in a minute too. Let's go just now. I'm actually going to stop. I've not come very far, but I'm going to get my poles out. It's rocky ground. I should have got them out at the top. You know what, I need to sort my helmet out. It's flapping about. Let's get myself sorted. Let's do that. Right, poles out, helmet away. I think there's about 3, maybe 4 tops along here. I think the last one's a munro. What a day to do it, it's perfect. So let's get going, and I'll bring you back a bit further along the ridge. Oh, right, I've come past the Buachaille where I usually drop down into the quarry over there, and there's Stob Dearg, which is very rocky. That's why I got the poles out. But it's lovely. It's warmer up here than it was, probably because of the inversion. It's just a lovely, lovely temperature. The breeze is keeping me cool, not getting too warm, and keeping the midges at bay. It's a bit hazy, but I can still see pretty well. And I can see where I've still to go. If I swing around here, this is the next peak. Here, I think it's about 1,011 metres high, and then there's another top here, and then it goes on to another one, which I think is the munro. And I have been on these two. The most recent time was with Jerry in the winter. We just didn't go up the Stob Dearg. I can't remember why. And we did the 2 middle peaks and didn't do any of the munros. Anyway, right, let's get going. And I'll report back once I get to the top of summit number 2. Right, let's go. So the next peak, Stob Doire, is a lovely, lovely peak. And it's high, it's higher than the remaining peaks on the ridge, but I don't think it's a munro, or ever was a munro. I kind of thought it was, but yeah, it certainly has a big drop and is, yeah, a sizable mountain, that's for sure. I'm just making my way, plodding my way up the hillside, but look at that behind me. It's a view of the Buachaille you probably don't see too often, or not the famous view of the Buachaille, but it's impressive, that big long southern ridge dropping down into Glen Etive. Looks fantastic. Almost unrecognisable as Stob Dearg of Buachaille Etiuve Mor. You're so used to seeing the pyramidal triangle from the east, aren't you? Tell you what, that's an impressive mountain. Wow. Right, I'm just using this as an excuse to get my breath back. Let's bimble on. Oh, right. Just come down off the path ever so slightly. Hopefully you can see me. Not far from the summit. This is a great viewpoint to see the rest of the ridge. Hopefully you can see it on the left of your screen. You might even be able to make out the path dropping down. It's quite a steep drop off, this one. Down and then up to the final top, which I think is a munro. I've got a funny feeling this one used to be a munro. And it's all very strange how they get demoted and remoted, and yeah, different periods of times people would have completed them and then found out that there was ones added or demoted. You must be gutting if you've completed them and a new one gets added. Anyway, in fact, is Scotland not rising after the last ice age? So maybe more will get promoted. Cover your backs, do the corbett's as well. Anyway, right, great views over to Starav. You can see everything, all the other Glencoe Hills, Bidgeon, Ennickegich, Ballahoolish Hills. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I want to head on up to the top and I'll report back there. Let's go. Well, that's me at the top of peak number 2. She's just behind me here. And as I said, I think this used to be a munro. I might be wrong. Somebody will probably correct me. It's a lovely, lovely viewpoint. You can see back to Stob Dearg there, and you can see the sort of pink rhyolite. Well, I can make out. I don't know if it comes out in the camera. Then down over Creech. Then the Glen Etive Hills down here. You can see right down into Glen Etive here. And there's the second munro. And ever present over here. In fact, I'll spin you around. Ever present. Just, it's hard to see, but that's Stob Do somewhere around about there, and Stob Coire Altuim down there somewhere, and that's the wee buckle, which I've been up many a time. And it's a grand walk. So anyway, I'll tell you a wee story about us getting to my friend Ian and I, the first time we did this, a wee story about what happened when we got into the top of the final munro. So I'm going to crack on and get over there, and I'll report back in a wee while. Right, onwards to the third top. Let's go. You can see the big buckle and the wee buckle over my shoulder now. Heading west along the ridge, and it's a rather steep descent, and it goes down quite a fair distance to the Buachaille when you come off peak number 2, but before long you hit the Buachaille and then you're ascending again to the third peak on the ridge. Right, that's me nearly. Well, I'm at summit number 1, 2, 3, and then you can see the cairn behind me there, and beyond that is a munro. And the last time I was here, as I said, was when I was with Jerry, and we did this one. We did summits 2 and 3, and this one, then we headed back because the clag was in, there wasn't going to be any views, there was no point going over to the munro. This is the munro down here. But what a view. This is where I've come over. You can see the far away peak is Stob Dearg, and drop down and up this one. You can see it's quite a big drop down to the Buachaille, then up here and then out. I'm going to be heading out to the end there, and hopefully the views down Loch Etive will be fine. But what a day. You can see over Bidgeon, Ennickegich, Ben Nevis, and my moors. It's a wee bit hazy, but clearer than I've seen it in the past. Right, I've still to tell you that story about my pal Ian. I'll do that at the top where the story happened. Let's go. Onwards we go. Oh, I tell you, the only thing about this hood is it doesn't stay up when there's a breeze. Right, let's go. The final peak on the ridge, Stob na Broige, is another munro, or the second munro on the ridge, and it sits in a wonderful position on the westernmost part with great views down Glen Etive. Right, let's come down off the summit. I'm not sure if the summit's in shot. There's a few folk there, so you know what I'm like, I don't like to talk when there's folk about. So I've just come down here. You know what? I'm going to have a wee seat. I might even have a wee snooze because I'm quite tired. And the view behind me is just amazing. I'll put some footage up of what I'm looking at. And I was going to tell you the wee story, and it involves snoozing. When I came up here all those years ago with my pal, and we'd done Stob Dearg, and we came over to the second munro. It was very similar to today actually. It was balmy, it was warm, and we were both pretty tired. So we got to the summit and there's nobody there. And my pal Ian gets his rucksack off, puts his head down, lies down in a nice soft bit of grass, and he's out. He's fast asleep. He's got his cap over his eyes and he is snoring within minutes, like loud snoring. And I'm just sitting taking it all in. And the next minute there's just all of a sudden it's like Sauchiehall Street. And he's still snoring. It was brilliant. It was great amusement. Everyone had a good chuckle, and they all left. And then he woke up, and they didn't believe me that there would be 20 folk watching him snoozing for half an hour and snoring away. And then when we dropped down, we went down to the wee river and we were roasting, so we stripped down to our boxers and we thought we'll go for a dip. Nobody around, and the next minute we go into the water and this family appears round the corner with their toddlers, and it was kind of, don't look kids. We weren't naked, but yeah, probably not the sort of thing you want your kids to see. Anyway, that was my first time up here. Anyway, I'm gonna have a wee try and get comfy here. Oh, a wee snooze. Oh, that's nice. So I lay back, closed my eyes and had a good snooze for about half an hour. It was wonderful. There's a few folk about now, so I'll probably not do too many more bits to camera here. I'll report back down in the glen. All I can say is I had a nice wee snooze. Right, let's go. So now it was getting really quite busy, and I didn't get the camera out much until I got back down to the glen to a nice cool burn. Oh. Right, well I'm not going to go skinny dipping, there's loads of folk around, but I'm going to take my shoes off and go for a paddle and cool my feet off. You probably can't see the camera where I've come from, but that's it's quite far up there. But we're down in the glen now, so that's just, there's a wee pools, there's not much. It's not rained for ages, so there's not much water in these pools, but you know what, there's enough for me to go for a wee paddle. Oh, it's wet. You know what, I'm going to have a seat here, stick my feet in. That, oh, that is bliss. That is absolutely beautiful. Oh yes. Cool. Another wee thing you can do is, I've talked about this before, but when it is really warm like this, which is like once a year, the buff that's been soaking up the sweat, oh, I can soak that in there. Oh yes, that's so nice. And I put the buff back on, that'll keep my head nice and damp and cool. Like so. This is lovely. Oh, this is so nice. Oh, the sun's going away. Amazingly. Right. I think, yeah, it's just a path walk down the glen now back to the car, so whilst I'm here cooling my feet off, I think I'll end the video here. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a great day. I'm absolutely knackered though. I'm going to have to, yeah, I may have a snooze in the car before driving home. And yeah, but what a great adventure it's been. And it's not often it's this warm in Scotland. So I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Oh yeah.